Baxter talking about the emotional and mental element, the need to refresh week by week. It's one of the great challenges, both for players and coaches. And the Saints seemingly on the up. Certainly on the evidence of last week at Six Ways, they are heading in the right direction. And on account of the clustered nature of the Premiership table, that result almost transformed them overnight from relegation candidates to playoff contenders. But they know, and Chris Boyd knows all too well, that a couple of defeats puts them straight back in the drop zone, in the danger zone. And their form isn't anything like consistent enough for them to rest easy. Referee for the evening, Ian Tempest. So Sarries will get us started. The Saracens, who are they? They're not here. The Saints will be getting us underway.
Going on the clock, mate.
It is more than 2 years since they last tasted victory over Exeter in the Premiership. The Chiefs have won 6 of the last 8 league meetings.
Time on, please.
Safe to say they have dominated. But Northampton will want to start their authority early on this one, if at all possible, and Dan Biggar launches us. Taken in by Cordero. Elvis Tyone employed at hooker for Exeter this evening. Only his second ever start for the club, which is pretty extraordinary. His first since September of last year.
This will be an area that Saints want to put pressure on. Jack Maunder's kicking game, not quite as accurate as Nick White's.
And given a little taster by Reece Marshall there, put under pressure. Biggar claims it and sets it up nicely for Reinach. So good last week against Worcester, dictating the tempo. Dug over the top by Collins, but into the arms of Cordero. Biggar again, anticipating nicely, using Reinach. Push back behind their 10-metre line. Joe Simmons waiting there. This experiment, if it is that, is developing quite nicely from Rob Baxter's perspective. Simmons at 15. This is Collins, though, and he's found a hole. Lovely break from Collins over halfway. Support on the outside. He's in the form of Biggar. Lovely offloading, and Francis stretching his legs and scoring a wonderful try. Northampton deliriously happy with that start. Only the second minute. Francis strikes from the Collins break.
Yeah, electric break from Collins, catching Exeter Chiefs napping in the defensive line in midfield. And it's got such... Talk about Cordero's feet, this man's got it as well. Just look at this, just changes direction on the inside of Elvis Tyone. And then Biggar does really well because Cordero times it perfectly. But look at this change of direction. Here's Francis, really good at that, reading where a pass is going to go. And then he changes direction early, so he's running onto it and at full pace to wrong foot the defence. Really, really nice Saints strike.
5th try of the season in all for Piers Francis. And one to warm the cockles around Franklin's Gardens. They will be delighted with that kind of start, and the full 7 points. An easy 2 for Dan Biggar, and a lightning break.
Yeah, it's just good awareness, not to die with it. Lovely break inside, using his footwork, but watch Biggar here. He knows the tackle's coming, he takes that extra step, loops it up into the air just as the defender drifts over onto Nayarovu.
Gathers it in.
Knock on.
A little knock on beforehand, and Saints back in possession.
Okay, great.
Well, the top 2 having stretched clear in the Gallagher Premiership seems to be the way of things, that if you want to challenge them, you've got to make them chase the game, Ben. You've got to change the dynamics, because both Saracens and Exeter are wonderful front runners.
Yeah, they are, but they also are aware that Teams raise their game to play against them. And you've got to be consistent. You've got to do it for 80 minutes. First 3 minutes is nice to get in that lead. And the messages from the Northampton coaches will be keep turning the screw, keep going at them, force the pace.
And a free kick at scrum time, which has gone the home side's way. But one-way traffic at Sandy Park between Exeter and Sarries in the scrum last week. They've opted for the up and under. Northampton. Kvesic underneath it, man of the match last week. This is O'Flaherty. He's making the most of his hitherto limited opportunities. Tyone. Chiefs looking to build and settle into their rhythm after falling victim to the third fastest try of the Gallagher Premiership season. Bigger for Naira envelops, and he's knocked that forwards in the process of trying to offload. Kvesic has gobbled it up gratefully.
Well, it is something that he looks for, isn't it? He goes into every contact with the ball one-handed, trying to get it above the heads of understandably smaller opponents and get that offload away.
Start using!
Cordero. Witten. Well tackled by Francis, who's made an excellent start here tonight. Armand shut down early and low by Ludlam. O'Flaherty straight into the traffic, straight into Burrell.
Here's Francis is down as well. It doesn't look good.
He looks very uncomfortable. The foot's tapping. He's in a lot of pain by the look of things at the moment, Francis. And the penalty has gone Saints' way.
He's had no effect, man. He's had no effect. Hold on, okay?
Doesn't look good for Piers Francis, but it didn't look good for Cordero either. It looked to me like he got hit off the ball after he passed in the midfield.
Yeah, I think just one extra step that Ludlam took, wasn't it?
Okay. Time off. 2 men down, one from each team.
Goodness, the highs and lows of top-flight sport.
No,
There was the tackle that looked reasonably innocuous in itself. Simmons with the clear out. Is that where he picked it up?
Yeah, it looked like a wrist or a finger injury. That's late on Cordero.
What I'm saying is I don't like your entry either, mate, okay?
Fortunately, he wraps his hands. If he doesn't wrap his arms there, that's a yellow card, but he'll get away with that. That's nothing.
Clear. Team open to me, okay?
I think Gareth Stevenson's just asking about that now.
Oz.
Well, just looking at the try, actually, it's a really clever push on Mitch Lees that creates the space. Elvis Tyone is in a decent line, but because Mitch Lees gets pushed forward, it creates the dog leg, which makes it really easy for Collins to step him on the inside. It's fantastic finish in the end, and as Ben said, the way that Bigger stands up in the tackle, he knows that he's getting man and ball, but still keeps the ball alive. A clever line from Francis. Hopefully that's not his big act of this game. It doesn't look good for him.
Yeah, the medics all clustered around him still, and the oxygen too looks distinctly uncomfortable. Fraser Dingwall is the man who would replace him. What a 5 minutes for Piers Francis. Elation followed by despair, seemingly.
It's looking like that right arm, isn't it? Let's have another look.
I think it's on the clear out. I think the tackle's not too bad. He gets up, competes. There's this clear out here. He gets hit. Is it a shoulder injury, maybe? Possibly a left shoulder or a right arm.
He's clutching that forearm, isn't he?
The crux of it is we don't really know, do we? We just hope he's okay.
It's a very unfortunate sight.
Okay, fellas, time on. Holding on wide. Thanks.
Poor old Piers Francis. Yes, we wish him fastest of recoveries, but not comfortable at all. So Dingwall on in the centres. Burrell will move to inside centre. Dingwall to outside, and in the meantime, touch has been missed. And Simmons fires it down the throat of Reinach. Bigger. A little bit of indecision here in the midfield from the Chiefs. It's fallen for Armand. Big fend on Bigger. Skinner. So good last week, particularly at line-out time. He's freeing the arms up, developing game by game. Sam Skinner. Williams. Steens pulls it back and looks for Devoto. Besic. Taken low. Really fast defensive line speed. Look how quickly Reece Marshall was up. And he's caused all kinds of problems off the back of it. Saints have it. Harrison has it. And Harrison is like a snorting bull inside the 22. Whisked away by Waller. The inside ball for Tuala. It is all Northampton in these early stages. Fire and brimstone at the Gardens. Again, it's Harrison. Reinach. Gibson. Restored to the starting lineup this week. Bigger waits. Men outside. Ludlam.
Just wonder if they've gone wide slightly early. We'll see now.
Reinach looking to suck in those defenders, and Exeter for the moment holding firm, but still the pressure is piled on. Ludlam once more. Prominent in the carry. Tuala over the top for Collins. Very close. Very, very close. Desperate defending here from Exeter. Ludlam. Northampton at the moment just tearing in to the Chiefs. This is Burrell. One more shot. It's Dan Bigger. Well, Northampton, they look a different beast tonight. They've been patchy throughout this campaign. Good last week, excellent in the first 10 minutes here.
Oh, it's like that big punch by a boxer, isn't it? Knocks the team onto the ropes, and then they're just trading blows, looking for that killer blow, and it comes from Dan Bigger. The initial tackle to make the turnover. And then they're almost taking a leaf out of Saints' ball. There's the hit from Reece Marshall. Big turnover. They get the ball.
No, thanks, mate. You made this help.
Lovely shot. Man and ball at the knees. And then the counter-ruck comes in. Big drive over the top. They get the ball back. And then eventually, after a few phases, Dan Bigger, using all that determination he's famed for, to drive himself over the line and give himself an easy shot at 7.
That's brilliant play from the Saints, playing Exeter at their own game. Fast rucks, really physical carries, and the ability to wrong-foot defenders because they're getting quick ball time and time again from the clear-out. Mitch Lees has to overrun, step back on the inside from Bigger, reach for the try. You want to start big at home, that's starting big.
Yeah. Well, the league leaders certainly rocked in these early stages. Another penalty here goes Northampton's way.
Play the ball back. Yeah. You're off your feet, you then play the ball back. Number 4.
Early indications, and a long, long way to go, of course, but early indications that Northampton Saints are right up for the fight this evening. And it could be one of those nights, Austin, where they go a long way to rediscovering themselves.
It really could be a defining moment for them, and it's all about the speed of play. Here's an example of it. There's Mitch Reed highlighted on the short side. He's the guy that works to the far side. Because of the problem with the ruck, he has to overrun the play. And because he overruns, well, we know what happens next.
Line-out ball secure from Northampton. It's Nairavoro who's launched. They'll be wanting to give him lots of touches tonight, needless to say. Bouncing ball for Bigger to tidy.
And not just a defining moment potentially for the Saints, but also for Dan Bigger. He's almost been, well, unheard of this season, hasn't he?
Well, you could say the same for the club. If we're honest, they've been anonymous for much of this campaign. Not tonight, they've been absolutely everywhere. Swarming. Taken on now over the 10-metre line. Alex Waller. Bigger. Exeter looking for line speed. Bigger's found a hole. Potts or not quite popped on with by Courtney Laws. It's been swallowed up by O'Flaherty. And there's a chase on here. O'Flaherty has the beating of Harrison. He stops. He's cut back inside, and now it's Burrell. And there's a counter-attack opportunity. What a game this is developing into. Dingwall. Fired through by Bigger. Off the body of Steenson. Now it's the Chiefs on the counter. Cordero. Breathless stuff. You can't take your eyes off this for a nanosecond.
Chris Boyd said he wanted lots of ball in play tonight.
He's getting what he wanted.
Just look at the work of Collins on this chase back. Great hit. And takes the ball, O'Flaherty, from Courtney Laws. And then it looks like he's got the pace to get away. But watch the red skull hat just preventing him from being able to step Harrison, who's had to overcommit. Harrison's done brilliantly well to chase back, narrow the angle, but working in tandem the defence, they stop what could have been a certain try.
And now not straight at the line out from Elvis Tayoni. When it's not running for you, it's not running for you. And Ian Tempest quick on the whistle. Northampton back in possession. Well, I've got to say, it's been a little while since we've heard the Gardens in this kind of voice, in this kind of atmosphere, this kind of mood. And it's great to see. The Gallagher Premiership needs the Northampton Saints pushing for playoff spots, pushing for titles. Maybe they're about to return to that sort of status.
But also, it's all about defence and desire to defend. If we look at that break again, yes, you see people chasing back, and yes, Collins has got a jetpack on. But when we freeze it here, look at how many Saints are in the picture. That's a desire to protect your goal line. 8 players in the picture versus 2 for Exeter. That tells you a lot about a team and where they are.
Too much weight. Too much weight. Scrum.
Alex Waller pushing a little bit early.
Scrum again.
Exeter look for the reset scrum.
We'll move it this way.
And the lovely thing about the dynamic of this match now as a neutral is the fact that you know the Exeter Chiefs will have some kind of response. You know that when you push Exeter, when you push Saracens, when you ask big questions, you build big leads, they will respond. Because they have the quality and the desire themselves.
They'll have to change their game plan a little bit. Yes, they'll want to go through the phases when they can. They'll have to attack a little bit more.
Scrum penalty. They play it off the base. Here's Steenson. Cordero. Maunder. Intercept from Gibson. And back we go. Ian Tempest in for a busy night. I think he's probably done his allocation on the mileage front already, hasn't he, in the first 14 minutes?
One hinge. One hinge.
It's Waller
Alex, I've given you the explanation, okay? One hinge. Here you go, mate.
Full-on penalty this time rather than just a free kick.
Apologies for the bad language you might have heard. And this is trademark Exeter. Penalty from the scrum around about the 10-metre line. The ball dug deep inside the 22. Not perhaps as deep as they might have liked.
Exactly. I'm just saying, one of the benefits that Exeter have is their kickers really drive them into the corner. They're going to have to work a little bit harder this forward pack now, particularly with Gibson stealing that.
Well, the line-out's not functioning for the Chiefs. The ball is loose.
Hands off now!
It's 2 now that have gone awry.
Use it!
Reinach. To safety. Not great distance, but safety at least.
Here, please.
Actually in a better starting position than they were from the previous line out. many games.
But you say they're in a better starting position. They've got that psychology now that everyone's just going to be a little bit twitchy in that line-out. They're all going to be slight hesitations, and you want your line-out to be all about flow, everyone working together.
All eyes on the Tongan once more.
It's a great read as well.
And that's 3 out of 3 that have gone by the wayside, but not forwards by Northampton. But this malfunctioning set piece will not please Rob Baxter.
Well, Courtney Laws and Dave Rivens working really well. When you got Gibson at the front, Laws read that perfectly. They went a long way back to come back to the middle, and Laws just stayed there. He held his ground. He said, go on, if you want to throw it, you throw it to the back. But we know that you like to drive from the middle of the line out. And when you've got a hooker who's not quite hitting their darts, the line-out caller often won't want to call something onto the 15-metre line. But this guy...
When you've got Gibson at the front, I presume it's because they can get him up so quickly that you can't win it that easily.
He's a real athlete. He is. He's off the floor very, very quickly.
Advantage.
Lots of options here, and more of them developing with the penalty advantage. Steenson, crossfield kick. He hasn't really measured that up too carefully.
This is the only worry that Northampton have at the moment in terms of their performance. Scrum's just becoming a factor in the referee's mind. This one against Paul Hill on the tight head side.
So they're getting opportunity after opportunity here. Exeter.
Crucial for the Chiefs that they win this.
None from 3, but this one swallowed up nicely by Skinner. And this is the trademark. This is the position they love to be in. Maunder is busy burrowing. Tyone has other ideas. He's holding on to the ball.
Come back. 4 side entry.
Dan Bigger shouting, holding. I think he wants to be careful there because his player was holding on the floor as well. The penalty given for side entry from Ribbons.
You have to think now for the Chiefs, if they can win this ball at the line out, if anything is untoward, they will get a penalty try.
No one in front, fellas. No one in front.
There hasn't been a warning, but...
Well, it's got to be, for it to be a penalty, a yellow card if it's a build-up, but for it to be a penalty try, referee's got to be pretty sure that it's going over without the penalty being committed.
Over 15.
To the tail and Armand this time. Skinner on the charge, looking to barrel his way forwards. Mitch Lees. Tyone short, Armand short. The line agonisingly close. Kvesic is held up. And another penalty.
Time off. 4.
Now then.
Sorry, time off.
You can hear the question being asked by one of the Saints players. Is it yellow?
Al.
It's one of the Chiefs players.
Al. Alex.
Sorry, Chiefs players. Let's have
I've got
a
you
listen
here, no
into
arms
this.
tackle, okay? Next man who gives a penalty away will be going to the bin, okay? Too many penalties.
2 seconds.
Yeah, fine, no problems. You've got a man down injured. Time off. Yeah, fine, time off.
You've also got to be careful, as one of the Chiefs actually saying, is that a yellow?
It's difficult, isn't it? You're defending your line like that.
It's a penalty for them. 1, no
You're
on.
trying to get underneath the guy, so you're at an unnatural tackling position. Your head's almost touching the ground. And to try and wrap the arms when someone's on you so quickly, quite difficult skill to do.
And I think they've made it increasingly difficult for the defensive side because you can't put your hand on the floor now, on the side of the ruck. And that gets you actually into a decent tackling position, rather like Ben said, where your head's too high.
You can put your hand on the floor, but you just got to concede a load of inches so it's behind the line.
Behind the line you can.
He's right, he doesn't wrap there, and it's stopped. If he wraps that, he probably gets carried over the line, so it's the right decision. Interesting, though. The Chiefs have shunned the penalty, and they think this scrum is on top.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Steenson and Cordero lined up directly behind this scrum here, but maybe they won't see it.
This could be a card.
Another penalty picked up by Kovacic. Here is Cordero. Got in a right old tangle. So the penalty's mounting up.
That now applies to the scrum as well.
So that's a final warning at set piece and in the loose.
The last warning was just for open play. Now it's including the scrum. We've seen a lot of scrum penalties.
Scrum again.
Huge pressure. You see Moon just having a word with his second row, just making sure he gets. I just wonder whether they'll have had a bit of communication to Maunder and say, look, as soon as we go down, as soon as you can get it in, and we'll just run. Because if we just run and it collapses, the referee's going to have it in his mind who's causing the problem.
Straight to grounds. You just get the feeling there's a lot of mind games going on right now.
It's a lot of desperation from Northampton, isn't it?
There's also a lot of good refereeing from Ian Tempest, because we saw a performance last week from the referee where it was just penalty at the scrum time, just to get away from the situation.
Longer and higher, please.
He's doing a good job there, as Ian Tempest.
Okay, get yourself steady, get yourself steady.
Let's go, reset focus, here we go. Let's go, boys, eh? Second game, release, beat. Come on, boys, come on.
Crouch.
Saints are just trying to stay in a smaller ball as possible underneath the bigger Harry Williams. Well, that's a good shunt initially. They'll straighten up now. Reinach comes in. Penalty try.
Yeah, penalty try is forthcoming. The set piece doing for Northampton. And Exeter claw 7 points back. Very efficient, very effective.
I think the decision's the back five, just rolling round to the left here. You see, turning away and then trying to hold their bind and spin Exeter round. Exactly the right call from the referee. You see Reinach as well, just chasing the number 8 when it happens. Ball almost out, but just well enough controlled by Kovacic. It's the right call.
And you get the feeling that is a picture we will see plenty more tonight. Certainly Exeter will be pushing for those moments. Third penalty try of the season for the league leaders. An area that they profited a huge amount from last season, last campaign. A clearance here from Cordero.
It's a clever exit, isn't it? They put Armand up in front of him, knowing full well that he's not going to take the ball. Gives Cordero a little bit more time to get the kick away. Maybe would have liked a bit more ground, but it's a clever exit.
Taken well by Gibson. Iravoro.
Just becoming obvious, Saints, when they do have the ball with the Burrell for so long. The crash up Merchant now in tandem with Iravoro.
Who?
I am struggling with his name on it. It sounds right in my head just before I say it.
Through the fingers of Ludlam. That was backwards initially, but forwards from Harrison on the tidy. And Exeter back in possession. Let's bring in the Chief Director of Rugby, Rob Baxter. Rob, your assessment of, well, a thrilling first 20-odd minutes from a neutral's perspective, but you won't have been happy with the first 10.
No, I mean, the truth is, we do look like a team that had a good win last week, worked very hard, and isn't quite decided yet to get the real hard work in. I mean, the first break for their first try, it's a good attack by Northampton, but we would normally expect to be working a bit harder in the line and defending better than that. And then obviously the second try, we get beaten on a counter-up with just the physicality what Northampton put there. And then we get carried backwards in defence with drag-down tackles rather than good, solid stop tackles. And the only message we're sending on a bit is that, come on, guys, you're going to have to work hard and you're going to have to be tough. You're away at Northampton. They're going to be playing with some pride and a determination to collect some points. They're not going to just let you come here and win. You're going to have to make good things happen. And it looks like in the last few minutes we're starting to get our heads around that fact.
Well, that's an almighty kick that's put you right in the box seat. Can we just quickly have a word from you on the set piece? The scrum, you're enjoying a great advantage. Of course, it's brought you your 7 points. The line-out, not so much.
Yeah, listen, if you look at the stats of all season, your Northampton's line-out has been very effective. Their scrum less so, and that's kind of being shown at the moment in this game. You know, it's one of those things. You've got to try and get your understanding of where you're in control of the game and drive that element as much as you can. You know, sometimes you can do it with defensive pressure, sometimes you can do it with your kick game, sometimes you do it with your scrum or your maul, and we've just got to understand where we're going to be able to create our pressure.
Rob, thanks for your time.
Thanks very much.
Chiefs within 5 again. This time it's Saints' ball. And the driving maul has been stopped in its tracks.
White player first to floor. White player first to floor. Scrum turnover.
That's one of those instances that I think we'd all like to see changed, isn't it? The ball patently there. Northampton deliberately blocking it out, perfectly legally, of course, within the laws at the moment. We can see the ball as it dies. The referee saying that Exeter take it to ground themselves first. And there's the ball at the feet. Gibson almost comes over after the Wardmare's show, doesn't he? And puts his hands on it, stops it coming out.
Time on, fellas.
But having won that turnover, from 5 are going to have to dig in. Always easier to attack on the opposition's ball than it is on your own ball. And Saints know exactly what's coming. They want this straight at the feet. You can see the hands go of Harrison already, ready to pick it up. But the strike's not clean enough because of the snap from the Chiefs.
Well, Northampton are in all kinds of bother at scrum time now.
Yeah, Harrison, just watch his hands there, just drops as soon as he knows the ball's coming in. They can't get that clean strike there. Ball still underneath the hooker.
Well, all that goodwill, all that momentum and confidence built in the opening 10 minutes in danger of evaporating at the set piece.
The scrum has undoubtedly been depowered over the last few years, but still a key factor. If you can get this sort of dominance, no matter how well you're playing, you still allow teams to get back into the game, and it's something that Saints have to sort out.
You're early than stepping back, okay? So likewise, you stay in a pushing position over the mark. Okay?
8 penalties conceded, 6 of them at the scrum.
Huge problems for the back row as well, because they now feel that they have to give everything. They can't have their heads up looking at when there's going to be a break. Yes, you'd expect this to come straight through the front row. But that back row will be nervous now about what happens if the ball comes out.
These scrums are not going to continue, pre-engage or not holding our weight, okay? We both have a responsibility on the setup, okay? There's your mark. Well, help me create the gap then, please. Both teams.
Let's go, both of them go early.
As you said, Benny, the simple fact that all the back row have to stay on makes Ludlam's job really difficult, because he has to stay on the hip of Waller, otherwise he's going to get wheeled anyway. So that makes it a lot easier for Kvesic to get into that channel, but Saints have found a scrum from somewhere.
Well, they've held it for the moment, but the ball is now with Simmons. He sent it wide to Cordero, and the alarm bells are ringing here for Northampton. Cordero stepping to within 6 metres. Maunda for Skinner.
Well, if the penalty does come back, it's likely to be a yellow card. They're already on a warning here, Saints.
Maunda back to that slightly shorter side. Devoto with the pirouette. Kvesic over the top, the little delay. Cordero into the corner. Chiefs outstanding. fashioning the try in a confined space, and it's Santi Cordero who's receiving all the congratulations.
Oh, that's a great pass from Kovacic because it breaks down on him. He realigns, gets himself in the right position. Little pump throw to bring the winger off his line and allow Cordero the space. Lovely pass round the back. And they concede the 5 points, but funnily enough, it's probably saved them a yellow card because the referee won't come back to that penalty.
Great strength as well, wasn't it, from Devoto to stay up in the tackle, keep the ball alive. And as you said, Ben, that little double pump of the ball from Kovacic, for me, we're almost halfway through the season. If we were picking a Gallagher player of the season for half of it, it would be Kovacic. We're not, though.
It's a snappy title.
I know. I think it could catch on.
What a kick, what a kick that is from Steenson to draw level from 14 points down. Exeter now have parity on the scoreboard.
A lot of it based around the scrum because this extra space, no one can get off that scrum quickly enough, and they can't get round the corner to be a defender. And that man doesn't need much space at all to exploit it, particularly when the pass is so good.
43 defenders beaten in the Premiership before tonight. Just a wonderful addition to the ranks. Armand gathering, and a different complexion on things after the fireworks of the first 20. Lonsdale has had a hard time setting that up, and Ian Tempest, oh, he's seen a little knock-on.
Well, they've got the field position now, Saints. Need this ball in and out of the scrum as quickly as possible.
I just think this scrum, though, Ben, will make Chris Boyd's mind up for him. If they don't get the ball out of this scrum, he'll make changes at half-time rather than waiting for 10 minutes into the second half.
Doing Hartley, of course, a late withdrawal owing to knee trouble.
Burrell just flat off bigger there. Ravoro hovering in behind the scrum to play off his inside.
An early shove here from the Chiefs, a little over-eager, a little over-excited. Here's Ravoro. And the ball seemingly there to be won by Exeter.
I know exactly what the Saints fans are upset about. The rolling Exeter player rolling through scrum half Reinach as he went to clear the ball. Carry from Maya Raboro. Drags in those three defenders. And I suppose he's still on his feet as he rolls, isn't he? You could say it's part of him falling in the tackle. I think that's what the referee thinks. Don Armand, I think it is.
Yeah, cheers, mate.
Popular, anyway.
Yeah, it's gone down very well, hasn't it? It's not the most stable of platforms. And Mourners in a lot of bother. Kovacic at the base. It's been stolen. Northampton have it back. Reinach, bigger, screaming for it. Across the face of the defence, and Digwall waltzes through. 19 years old. And coming up with a vital score. Almost untouched through the middle.
Oh, what a scrum this is from a team under pressure. The control's not there from Kovacic. Lovely steal from Gibson. And driving the extra few metres to put all those front row boys on the back foot. But how about this for a pass? On the slide, Witten, I think it is, just gets a bit narrow. His shoulders turned in, thinking it's going to the first receiver. And as he tries to recover, he gets wrong-footed with a lovely step back on the inside from Dingwall. And there's nothing the big boys can do to recover the situation. That is a brilliant, brilliant try from a team that's been under massive pressure for the last 15 minutes.
And what a way to find your way back into the game. All stemmed from the fact that Whitton was offside. He was miles offside. He stepped out the line. He's a good 2 or 3 metres offside, and that makes the defensive line out of shape completely by the time he readjusts. He tries to readjust, and then Dingwall spots that he's overrun him. What a finish it was, though. Great step.
A lovely step from a youngster that they're investing heavily in. Fraser Dingwall come through the Scottish age group ranks, but England under-20s in the summer last year. And now scoring at the Gardens in front of the full house. This is Simmons taking the attack back to Northampton.
That's a clear penalty. Collins into the side.
Tayoni, a little isolated. Opportunity here for Harrison.
Good steal.
And he snaffled it.
It's a great steal. It's gone forward.
And then forwards.
Harrison.
It's a forward pass.
And Ludlam just starting to combine well, aren't they?
Yeah, thanks.
The Exeter tackling of Ludlam going at knee height. Harrison doing exactly what his coach would have wanted from him on the floor. Him and Gibson together making turnovers.
Big moment for Fraser Dingwall. Made his Premiership debut back in October.
It's a lovely recognition of the space from Bigger, isn't it?
Okay.
Seeing that the hinge was coming in onto Burrell. Just faces it across, puts it across his face, and allows Dingwall the time to step.
Another scrum penalty here for the visiting team, and because the Saints were on a warning, that is yellow.
Yes, please. Team offence. Too many
It's
penalties.
Alex
One
Waller,
goes to the bin, angle.
who's heading to the bin. He's actually the most penalised player in the
Time
Premiership
back on.
this season,
One, angle.
and he'll be in the cooler for 10 minutes.
We're just seeing Gareth Stevenson kick to the corner. Some people think, well, maybe they'll take it out to, or get inside the one score a bit more, take the 3 points. But the completions in the red zones from both sides has been excellent. Look at that. Points per visit, really high from both teams. Just tells you the quality of the execution in the red zone and why we're seeing such a good game.
Sorry, just 1 sec, let's hear. Okay, sorry. You can recall if you want, time off. You can recall if you want, we'll just wait for him to get back up.
A short pause in proceedings. I think it's Reece Marshall who's down on one knee for the moment.
And with Waller off the field, Exeter will really want to tighten this game up now. They'll want to play pick and go, stay down in this red zone, go through those phases that we've talked about in the red zone, take every scrum that's on offer.
I think it's just a standard issue with most front rows struggling to do their laces up.
I was just wondering whether he was having some assistance with that.
It's bunny ears, isn't it? You do 2 bunny ears and then you flop them over together.
Okay, you ready?
I don't know why I'm telling you, Ben. You'll have forgotten by the time you try and do it yourself. That's why you're still wearing Velcro.
Slip-ons, mate.
Okay, fellas, water off, please. Thank you. Okay, fellas, that's time on. Time
I
on.
need to be wearing
Just
those
make your gap.
Diamante laces, though. It just makes it really silly.
Else would be dancing.
Skinner with line-out possession. Kvesic, lovely little pop to O'Flaherty, but Ludlam's waiting for him. Exeter revving through the gears. This is Lonsdale. Driven right through by those in support. Armand the latest. Back against the grain goes Devoto. Maunder. For Mitch Lees.
We talk about the Chiefs pick and go game. Everything's been off 9 here, but they're winning every collision, just even if it's a few inches. But they're edging closer towards that 5-metre line where they'll start the pick and go game and keep inching their way forward.
With the extra man, remember. Kvesic to within 3 metres. Ben Moon. Closer still. Williams. Harry Williams is over the line. And Ian Tempest is right on the spot and says he's held up.
Austin's talked about it before. Sometimes the best strategy here is to try and wrap the ball and allow yourself to be taken over, because it's the only time you can hang in there and not allow them to recycle the ball. The only other problem is if your scrum's in trouble, you've got to go back to the 5 metre line.
11, please.
But in terms of defending your line, if that gets recycled, you've then got to defend it again. It's a good wrap, body underneath from Harrison.
Still your side.
He's been excellent over the ball today. Physical, making good decisions, turnovers.
Hold up. Scrum white.
Francois van Veek is on.
Feet close, stay square.
In the absence of Alex Waller, so he's onto the loose head, and Tangeli Nairavoro is off for the moment.
Surely they could have left him on and put him on the scrum.
Well, they could have just put him in at loose head, really, couldn't they?
The other players can't reach.
Ball, crouch! 8, 9, 15.
So important moments. We always talk about them just before half-time. Chiefs trailing by 7, but threatening and knowing that they have full dominance in this area of the match so far. Maunda for Devoto, a little skip and he's through. Ollie Devoto, did he not get it down? Ian Tempest isn't convinced. Well, even if Devoto is.
This is either an incredible tackle by Gibson or a fantastic step from Devoto.
I haven't got a grounding, so it's going to be try yes or no, please. Yes or no. I haven't seen the ball on the floor.
I think it's Dingwall who gets his body underneath, his legs underneath. Does he do enough to prevent the ball hitting the turf? Reinach initially, in comes Gibson. Oh, is that on the line? We need to see it clearly, because the question asked. You can see Dingwall's leg underneath there, but does it, when they first hit the ground, does it touch the line?
Reinach in the first instance. That's a try, isn't it?
We need that graphic to go.
Yeah.
We're probably going to have a look. If this touches, I think they've made the line. So if it does touch the ground, I think it's a try.
That's a try there, surely.
And then the ball
is held up under his own arm.
That's his arm, isn't it?
But I think it's already touched. As it goes down, the point of the ball, there.
But is it short? Is the point short?
I think it's right on the line. I think it's a try.
I'm not sure. I think he might roll over his arm over the line.
Yeah, those are all the angles. There is no clear sight of the ball hitting the line, so no try.
So we're going to hold off?
Correct, correct.
So we're not able to hear the TMO, Keith Lewis, but the understanding is that that try has not been awarded. And Ollie Devoto is left a very disappointed man. So too Rob Baxter, and indeed everybody dressed in white.
Ben's happy though, because he was right and I was wrong. Happy Christmas.
Thanks.
Okay, well.
Well, if Saints can hold out here, you feel it would give them a real boost as they head for half-time. Any little margin, any cushion at all will be a prized one against the Exeter Chiefs, who are threatening once more. Waiting for that great second surge. It's there for Kvesic. Maunda goes wide. Cordero is waiting, and so is the defence.
Poor call from Maunda, that.
Thanks.
Don't want.
Well back behind the gain line.
A player with the footwork of Cordero, having to reach above his head.
Thanks, mate.
Toyoni, Steenson, Devoto. Well held, well tackled by Burrell.
No, leave it now.
Maunda again for Kvesic. Head down and straight. Clock in the red. Witten. Cordero. Armand. Sayoni.
Not winning as many collisions now, Exeter, are they? Saints defence just on top.
Yeah, they're being held at arm's length for the moment. The inside ball from Steenson.
The pass is forward, and then it's knocked on.
And Exeter have bungled it. They bungled it at the end of this first half. An intriguing first half. A riveting 40 minutes, which began with two firecracker tries from Francis and Bigger of Northampton. The Chiefs coming right back into it with a penalty try and one from Cordero. Dingwall putting the Saints back in front. At half-time at the Gardens, Northampton 21, Exeter 14.
And Franklin's Gardens are absolutely loving this. I hope you're enjoying it at home. The Saints currently have the lead, 21 points to 14. Tries aplenty, loads of drama, and more drama coming your way in the former Premier League football. How good at Liverpool being to watch this season? More of that coming your way. 5 p.m. up against Arsenal, BT Sport 1, and of course 4K UHD. My words, what? Oh, of course, UFC coming your way. I forgot about that. Jones against Gustafsson. That's tomorrow night at 1 a.m. for you Nightbirds out there. I'm sure there's a box of Policy Street. You can finish off watching that one on BT Sport 2. You don't want to miss the second half because Northampton Saints have been really, really good value for money in that first half. Had to work really, really hard, and the stats would show you exactly that. The scrum has been a real struggle for them. Look at that. 7 penalties conceded at scrum time versus Exeter Chiefs 1. But Harry Mallender, our guest today, tackles made, 82 tackles made. They're working their defensive socks off, aren't they?
Exactly, and we knew Exeter would keep the ball for long periods of time, and to be able to beat a side like Exeter, you need to defend, you need to have your defensive stats up in the 80s if you're going to come out on the right side of the result.
Chris Boyd said before kick-off he wants to keep the ball on the park, he wants to play a bit of rugby, and we saw that. The first 10 minutes were brilliant from a Saints perspective, weren't they?
Yeah, as we say here, Tom Collins, incredible break, and then it's a support play from the boys. Dan Bigger gets in behind, and it's a lovely offload to Piers Francis. Makes the kick easy by going under the post.
We're trying to work out whether Piers Francis got injured while scoring that try or not, because he went off a little later on and he was in real pain. But look at this work at the breakdown. They talked about detail at the breakdown beforehand, and a great turnover one there, Harry.
Yeah, a great low tackle from Reece Marshall, urgency from Courtney to win the ball, and then we're in behind them. It's a lovely offload from Ace, and we thought Tom might get one there, but a lovely line from Biggs, and first try of the season.
Yeah, Dan Bigger came off the pitch really smiling at half-time. He's having a good time there. Forwards perhaps less so when it comes to the set piece. We knew the squeeze was going to come from Chiefs at some stage, and at scrum time it really came. As you can see from the penalties, conceded 7 at scrum time. The referee was going to lose his patience. He certainly did, and the penalty try was coming. A huge shove from the Chiefs. Nothing the Saints could do about it. Ref goes under the post, but this is a great bit of skill from a man who's been on fire tonight. Cordero's been full of beans, hasn't he?
Yeah, this would be a great pass from a fly half, let alone a back row. Kvesic gets his arms free and manages to find the gap in behind. It's a great bit of skill.
Actually, not his most skillful moment, I should add, because there's been better moments like that from him. But what a live wire this guy is. You got to keep an eye on him, don't you?
Yeah, definitely, and it's a fierce battle out there. You see Taymana Harrison playing really well. Him against Kvesic, it's a great match.
Dingwall came off the bench, young fella, 19 years old, and I guess he's the future of this club. The kind of young players that Chris Boyd are really investing in, and he's paying them back, because this is great work, not just from Dingwall, but the pack here were exceptional, weren't they?
Yeah, the urgency from Gibbo to win the ball, and then it's about finding the space, and Biggs communicates that in, manages to get the ball out to Dingers, and it's a lovely little shimmy off his right leg. Great score.
Dingers, what a brilliant nickname.
I know. He's a great lad as well.
You know, well, the confidence as well is fantastic, but the confidence in defence, I mean, any other day of the week, this is a try you would have thought for Exeter Chiefs. This is where they're at their best, but holding up there, that's a huge turning point in the game, isn't it?
I think so, yeah. It will give us great confidence going in at half-time. You know, to not concede there right before the break is very crucial, so hopefully we can come out and keep that defensive pressure up.
Just to let you know, Harry, whilst you've been on here, Aaron BT Sport, people have been comparing you to the Prince from Frozen. Okay, if you've got your phone beside you, you might want to Google that. You can also download the BT Sport app for all the stats you need. But do stay tuned. A brilliant game here from Franklin's Gardens. Saints have the lead, 21-14. Gripping the counter in Franklin's Gardens, where the Saints have a 21 points to 14 lead thanks to tries from Pierce Francis. He's gone off injured. Dan Bigger and Dingwall right on the end there. But how they held Ollie Devoto out on 39 minutes is unbelievable. They have done. They've got themselves a 7-point lead. So let's get back up to the commentary box and rejoin Ben, Oz and Alan.
So 5 more minutes on the yellow cards for Alex Waller. No other changes have been made since the break. Steenson gets us back underway. A little bit of a mix-up. Courtney Laws takes care of business. He's doing his Nakarawa impression, freeing the arms out and offering the ball up.
Big call of no by Jamie Gibson.
Wasn't quite the moment.
It's not clearly available yet.
Reinach to the air. The depth on this, and Simmons has Steenson alongside him. He's setting off on the counter and over halfway. Floored by Bigger. Whipped away by Maunder. Bit of pace into the game from Cordero. This is Armand. Mitch Lees. Restored to full fitness after shoulder surgery in the summer. Crisp handling from the Chiefs. Simmons again to Witten. Good tackle made by Dingwall. Glessick. Steenson pulls it right back. Cordero won't have enjoyed that pass particularly, but he's done Reinach. All ends up before running into more heavy traffic. Exeter back behind halfway again. Steenson left that
knock on
late, and it went forwards in the process. Forwards from the Chiefs, so forwards from Saints rather. So Chiefs power forwards, and Steenson is there again, switching the direction. Cordero seeking out the spaces. Somehow still inside and outside of 3 separate defenders. 10th phase of possession, no great territory gained as yet. Steenson, Simmons, buffeted by the tackles but assisted very nicely by a couple of teammates up to halfway. Lees is bundled over. Another good hit coming in from Laws, who's high on the tackle count. To the boot go Exeter, and that has to be considered a success from a Northampton perspective. Tuala. Ludlam. Started 9 out of the 11 games in the Premiership this season. Lewis Ludlam. Luther Burrell is stopped in his tracks.
Leave it! Leave it!
Like Witten's turned that over, hasn't he? Burrell's got to move now. He has to at least try.
Off his feet, pushing the ball back. I gave him the opportunity.
Up until this point,
I gave him the opportunity.
really good defensive set from Saints.
And it's been
matched by the Chiefs.
Off his feet, playing the ball back.
No surprises, they'll go into the corner.
Dan, you speak to me like that again, we'll get bigger shoes.
It's a routine the Chiefs know well,
just give your language to yourself.
and so too each of their opposition.
Step over, please.
To within 10 metres. Again with a man advantage. All eyes on Taione. whose line-out has not functioned entirely brilliantly. This time, though, Kovacic is onto it, and the hooker has it again. Runs into Harrison. Witten. Good tackle again from Burrell. Border goes himself. Harrison's onto it. Saints are onto it. And there may be turnover ball here. Gathered up by Tayoni.
It's a great pickup, isn't it, off his shoelaces?
Witten. Stealing those hard yards. He's still upside down, and the ball recycled. Lonsdale's gone close. Exeter bearing down. Armand. Repelled just short.
Take the line.
Moon. Ben Moon this time.
Time off.
Yeah, more TMO, I feel.
Keith, I've got the ball on the line. I've lost it just going over, so any reason I can't award the try, please.
Different question this time.
Stand by.
We'll have a look. Just laughing at Cordero, who's one-on-one with Tuala. Fancies his chances, but he knows this is never coming out his way. Does he get there? It's just that lift of the ball there. Yes,
yeah, that's
a try.
Yeah, that one a little more clear for Keith Lewis. And tight to the post as well, so the conversion should be straightforward.
Yeah, it's all good. You may award the try.
Try for Moon in his first Premiership start since early October. A very significant score, you feel, which puts the Chiefs right back into contention. And having got something out of that 10-minute period when they've had the extra man. Three tries apiece, 21 points apiece, and in a moment or two we'll see the return of Alex Waller.
It's just a big, lovely pick up off the floor from Tayoni. And then the inevitable surge on and got close. Moon just has a little look up, buries that head, and spins into the contact and into the ground. And there's no rocket science to it, is that Northampton need to get back to their game of controlling field position, because when they keep Exeter down in their own half, they look comfortable defensively. As soon as they get into the red zone, just you feel panic for them, don't you?
So Alex Waller's back on the field. There he is, wearing number 1. Francois Van Veek has gone off, and that means that Tangeli Nairavoro has been allowed to return as well on the wing for Northampton. Good chase here, but Collins claiming the ball nicely. Nice little step here from Tuala. The offload very nearly good. It's gone forwards from Nairavoro, though. It was building.
And then knock on by White. Scrum.
Just gets taken out.
Nairavoro. Scrum, extra ball.
As he's trying to get on the shoulder. Nothing in it, nothing illegal. You've got to go forward as though you're going to make the tackle, but just has to check his run. And as a result, he's not quite where Tuala's is expecting him to be.
Witten just checks him out of the shot there, which means that little short ball's now behind him rather than on the side.
Crouch. Bind. Set.
So the scrum happy hunting ground for Exeter in the first 40 minutes. So too here, seemingly. Penalty coming. They play it to Cordero. Going around the outside of Nairavoro. Tap tackle's good. The offload is good also. Maunda carries it up. Nairavoro did really well to bring Cordero down there. A last-ditch effort. And the ball has been slowed up. Saints have done an effective job here.
And Harrison coming in to support Gibson.
Steenson. Crossfield. O'Flaherty on the chase. And has that gone straight into touch? It has.
Yeah.
Not sure he was aware the advantage was called over. Cordero, though, what a break around the outside. He's lined up, defence is covered on the inside. There's only one way he can go, and yet he still beats him, but what a tap tackle that is. Nayaravoro does really well. Long arms help.
Again, that work rate in defence. Gibson straight back to his feet, clear release. And then his back row colleague comes in, Harrison, and just supports him. Slows the ball down enough to take away the options for Steenson. And he goes crossfield. Marshall. Finding Laws.
Once 9.
Reiner. O'Flaherty has gone backwards.
Steve, anything for you?
And flicked away. Simmons.
Steve? Sorry, fellas. It's a knock-on by White. We'll go back to the scrum. Knock-on.
It's the referee's assistant that gave him the call.
Sorry, fellas. Knock-on. Okay.
It's a lovely high-hanging kick. You've got Bigger chasing, one of the best in the air.
Time off, please.
Certainly touches O'Flaherty.
Okay, that's fine, mate. So you'll yeah.
There's Tom O'Flaherty, started 4 of the last 5. No Alex Cuthbert at the moment. Ollie Woodburn coming back to fitness. He's taking his chance.
Thank you, Alex.
O'Flaherty signed from Ospreys last season. And a small breather here. So let's get you up to date with what's coming your way across BT Sport this weekend. Tomorrow from 3:30, big game 11.
You okay?
From Twickenham tomorrow, 3:30 on BT Sport 2 HD. Quins Wasps with Emily Scarrett, our special guests. All the highlights from round 11 tomorrow, 9 o'clock, BT Sport 1. And then on Sunday to the Wreck, Bath Leicester from 2:30 on BT Sport 1 and 4K UHD. And Wednesday, in its usual slot, rugby tonight, 8 o'clock on 1 and 4. And Alex Good, the Saracens fullback, is our special guest.
Bind! Set! No, it's not. It's just a timing. It's just a timing issue. It's a timing. Okay? That's fine. We just reset, boys. Come on. That's fine. Okay.
Go again. Sorry, Rosic.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go, Haz. Let's go, Haz. Let's go. Let's go. Wait, seconds in.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
There's that early shove, seemingly from Exeter, but down on the far side, and Paul Hill has been singled out. He doesn't like it. The assistant referee on that far side is Steve Lee. He does lose that collision, doesn't he? And almost rolls in. But he does manage to keep his feet, which is why the Saints fans on that side aren't happy. But just watch, he loses there and folds. That's a hinge at the hip. It's the right decision. But it's not a popular decision. He was trying to make clear in his mind that he thought Ben Moon had lost his footing and slipped from under him, so whatever. We have another Chiefs line-out. We have Arman providing Maundy with lovely ball to play with. Devoto tucks. Maundy again for Kovacic. Shot down by Burrell. It's there. Quick ball for Lees. Ludlam is bundling him. Out it comes from Steenson. Rush defence from the Saints. Simmons darts. For Tyone, he's got through a lot of work in the carry. And it's
being held up, but held up legally and very effectively by the man who until very recently was in the sin bin, Alex Waller.
Well, some heroic defence from Saints, particularly from Ludlam and Harrison, but Waller coming in here after the tackle from his number 7. Really good body position over the ball, no doubt in the referee's mind. And Dan Bigger clears the lines and they get an opportunity to play off line-out ball.
Premiership start for Alex Waller, but having had time in the bin, he's now going off for keeps as Chris Boyd changes both his props. Van Beek is on and Ben Franks too.
For some of that, it's just about changing the picture in the referee's mind, changing things that he's looking out for.
Reinach feeds Burrell, a little burst from Tamana Harrison, who still retains that real explosion onto the ball. Here's Naira Voro, who has similar tendencies. Reinach looking for it, the ball stolen by Lonsdale. Besic, Steenson, he's not got the distance on that, straight down the throat of Gibson. Armand with the tackle, the ball dislodged, Dingwall in trouble and in touch.
Wow, big steal from Lonsdale, not popular with the fans again. Is this a ruck?
Hold it, you got changes.
Survives that initial clear out, but his hands are clearly off the ball. It's Lonsdale just picking it up.
So props being changed all round. Ben Moon and Harry Williams off. Alec Hepburn and Thomas Francis on. That's a little loose from the Exeter line-out, not for the first time tonight. Reinach has got right underneath that. Simmons hurtling forwards.
Knock on from the line.
Yeah, right decision. Cowan Vicky as he came through. Great steal from Gibson again. Such a threat in the air.
It's been messy, hasn't it? The last 2-3 minutes or so from both sets of half-backs been a little bit loose. As has the line-out. Just needs someone now to get a grip of this. Either Bigger or Steenson. Force them back into their own red zone. Try and strangle them.
Just off Hepburn's chest.
So another change being made. Mitch Lees is coming off. And that means that Johnny Hill is on. Back after a long spell out. 13 weeks out with hand ligament damage.
Will strengthen the aerial threat that Exeter have, the number of options they've got to try and throw away from Gibson. We've still got Laws to contend with.
Scrum penalty yet again goes the Chiefs' way. And a talking to for Courtney Laws.
I've had no change of behaviour at scrum time second half, okay? This side is the tight heads, just collapse the scrum, okay? I need to see a change of behaviour at scrum time, okay? Okay. We've had too many penalties first half. It's now not improving. If they don't show me a change of behaviour, someone's going to be leaving the field again, okay? Very clear message, please. Can you just let them know for me, please?
As England scrum coach Neil Hatley will be taking a keen interest in goings-on at the set piece, and the change of props has not thus far had the desired result for the Saints.
It's brutal, and it goes back to what I was talking about in the first half about why the scrum is still a threat, because there's nothing you can do to get around it. There are going to be scrums in the game, and you can't just keep marching backwards because eventually the penalty will come anyway. So there's really nothing you can do apart from change the players. Saints have done that. It's the same result.
You got 6 and 7 blocks.
Henry Slade is on. He's come on for Ollie Devoto. And Nick White has now replaced Jack Maunder at scrum half for Exeter. Tom Wood is on as well for Jamie Gibson in the Saints pack.
Brousseau's on as well. What a game Gibson and Ludlam have had.
Well, some big characters arriving. Wood, 50 caps for England. Brousseau, 23 caps for South Africa. And the line-out ball won by Skinner of Exeter and Scotland. White, Slade, first touch. Whitten bursting through, he's made good ground. It's there for White. Sniping, and a mix-up, and it's gone forwards.
I think Steenson was wanting that to come round the corner, but Whitten had just stepped out of the tackle a little bit, which meant it was a long way for those forwards to get on the line with the ball coming back so quickly. Spotted.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you.
By White, so he decides to come back. There he goes on that outside line. White realises the forwards aren't going to get there, so tries to help them out by coming back to this open side, but they're still on that line to try and get round to the far side.
Okay.
Sorry, mate, I didn't swear. I was... Oh, apologies.
Okay.
Okay,
that's fine, mate, that's fine. Okay,
Ian Whitten, one of the most durable of athletes in the Chiefs setup. Long-time servant. Not many team sheets issued by Rob Baxter without his name somewhere. Indispensable in lots of different areas, you feel. But on that occasion, his break not amounting to an awful lot. The kind of crispness of execution, the accuracy missing, that more often than not they nail down. Baxter flanked by two former Saints men tonight in Ali Heifer and Rob Hunter.
Crouch!
Both played here, both worked here in coaching capacities.
Set!
And again, Northampton's back under pressure, but Harrison has gathered it in, and Bigger is looking for contact. Sorry, organising.
Yeah, just realising he didn't have time to get that kick away. He looked to his half-back partner to
Just
put the box kick up.
Fellas, just go easy.
That's a pretty decent clearance out of his 22.
And he's given out everything right now. And he's gained an awful lot of ground up to the 10-metre line.
On the line. Oh, sorry.
That's sensible as well, going to the sideline. Trying to put pressure on this line out. It's good ball from Armand though. Oh.
And the interception, it's Reinach is away. And they'll have a very hard time catching this man. Cobus Reinach for the second week running. An interception score, and this one has the Gardens on his feet.
Well, the bonus point try. I said it was good ball to Armand, but it's read perfectly from Reinach. We've seen a few of these tries. Does the referee want to check his positioning? When does he go?
I think he's fine. I think he's onside by a good 2 or 3 yards.
As soon as the ball comes off Armand at the top,
Ian, stand by, mate. We'll
he can go. He's got to be back in his receiver position.
I don't even think this is close. The only question is he inside the 15 line? He's fine.
He's fine.
He's well onside.
Yeah.
It's a great read by him. And again, he's got the pace to get away from the cover. It's not even close. He's miles onside.
Looks worse at that angle, funnily enough, but it's a try.
Okay, Ian, those are the angles. Scrum half is fine, no problem.
Sorry, Keith. I need to just see it one more time, please. By the time I go to the screen, I can't fully see it. I want to see.
Okay, hang on, it's coming again.
He wants one more look.
Here it is, Ian.
Tempest.
Okay, so he's clearly starting 2 metres.
Yep.
The ball's passed off the back, he intercepts the ball,
Correct.
and he scores a try.
Correct.
So I'm going to go and award the try.
Correct.
Thank you very much.
There we go.
That is what I'm going to do now.
I'm going to do that. I've just done that now. Cobus Reinach is smiling, and so too the multitude gathered here tonight. Fabulous score from a fabulous player playing some of his very best rugby, and they've got full value for it. The bonus points and a 28-21 lead.
Well, they haven't had quite enough ball to play off the top, the Chiefs. They get decent ball. It's just the delivery slightly stops. The scrum half coming round. And as a result, he just has to check his run. That buys a fraction of a second for Cobus Reinach.
I think the decibel level has just been raised. Saints fans once again believing in their team. They've had to endure some troubled times. Finished 9th in the table last season, their worst campaign for 11 years. It's a very high one, which is gathered all and then dropped by Simmons. Hasn't put too many feet wrong, has he, Simmons, since wearing that 15 shirt for the first time a handful of weeks back.
A really nice touch from Dan Bigger, though. Picks him up off the floor, doesn't say anything, doesn't rub it in, just helps him out.
Well, he's looked pretty comfortable there for the most part, Simmons. On that occasion, it's all gone wrong, but a nice bit of sportsmanship.
Just pinch the inside of the arm as you pull him up. I don't know what's happened to Ben. It must be Christmas spirit.
Quickly out from Harrison, quick as a flash. Reinach for Burrell. Bigger. Tuala. Collins waiting. Slade with the tackle, did well.
Come on.
Taken up by Brousseau. First appearance for 3 months last week. Here's Laws in the carry. Skinner hanging on. Wood is there in support.
Does really well to fall onto his front, protect the ball for a fraction of a second, allow his support to get there, and Reiner just dabbing it down, applying that pressure to this Chiefs side, playing in the right areas of the field, and now they'll put maximum pressure on this line-out.
Clever bit of work from a man who really right now is at the top of his game. Been incredibly durable as well, Cobus Reinach for Saints. So change of hooker for Exeter. Tyone is off and Cowan Dickey is on. Reece Marshall is off for Northampton. James Fish is on. Cowan Dickey back last week after a couple of months out with knee trouble. Nick White charged with the clearing duties. He's found a very good touch.
That's brilliant. Under maximum pressure from Reinach. Just flew through off the back of the line out.
He seemed frustrated with it. Pretty decent to me.
Let's go, fellas, please. Let's go.
In full voice. James Fish picks out Tom Wood.
Don't change.
Reinach. Collins.
Too long, Mark. Leave it now.
Ribbons. Good power in the carry through the tackle of Francis. Reinach for Brousseau. Quickly onwards. Wood's there, and so too is Laws. The support play excellent at the moment. Dingwall, Tuala, good decision. Inside he goes.
Good decision and great fend as well.
Ribbons for Nairavoro. Is that a little high from Slade? Wood in the carry.
Matt, no!
Just look at the belief now of this Saints side and the fans as well.
Francois van Beek for Reinach, injecting urgency into everything at the moment. Whips it away again. Bigger is there. Chiefs under pressure. Reinach once more, darting, fizzing around. Chiefs slowing things up here for a moment. Good counter drive from Lonsdale, but the ball is there. Laws. Oh, hello. That unquestionably will land Karen Dickey in trouble.
Nick White trying to suggest Courtney Lawes jumps. I don't think so. That's Karen Dickey. Nick White doesn't help him by trying to get him down, but
the player goes above the horizontal. Okay.
if only he lands on his shoulder.
Yeah, well, he actually lands on his arms, doesn't he? The arms are tucked. It's just not a good picture. This is going to be a very interesting call.
Well, it's definitely a yellow, if not more.
You'd feel a bit aggrieved, wouldn't you, if it was more? I know what you're saying. The picture doesn't look very good, but
I hope it's only a yellow.
The Northampton player is twisting himself. For me, it's not clear that he lands on head or neck.
Agreed.
So it's a yellow card for me?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So Luke Cowan-Dickey, who's only just appeared, is going off for the moment.
Courtney, are you okay? Okay.
A yellow each way now. Waller in the first half for Saints, Cowan-Dickey in the second for Exeter.
3 points, yeah.
And Bigger pointing at the post.
No surprises there. Got the bonus point. All they want is the win, really.
Dan, sorry, mate, just a bit more.
Fantastic hands here. Tom Ward, Courtney Lawes round the back. Lovely shift on, and then Tuala does the right thing, as you said, puts that fend out. Has Cordero off balance anyway.
Well, this has got to be right up there with one of the best performances under Chris Boyd. And Bigger looking to give them just that little bit more breathing space. A sweet strike from the Saints fly half. They do believe. 10 points the difference. 17 minutes left to play. Cordero sets it up for Kvesic. Cordero again. Exeter wanting an instant response here. Playing with 14 men. Kvesic hard onto the ball. Stopped by Ben Franks. Armand.
Your plays as well, Nick.
Good response from the Chiefs. They need their patience now. They can't try and solve the problem in 3 phases.
Steenson thinks about giving it. Darts back inside. Again to the short side. White, the little pot for Skinner. Held up well. Bigger right in the thick of it defensively. Kvesic. White. Steenson and Myravora, that went forwards. The tackle ultimately coming in from Cordero. There is David against Goliath.
He wasn't going to let go of him, Cordero, on the floor, was he?
It's a good job he goes for it with both hands. You go for that with one hand, you end up with a penalty, or maybe even worse.
Want to catch him before he's moved.
You just want to let someone else tackle him, don't you, really?
Ultimately, stationary is best. So back comes our friend Elvis.
Knock on, arms are up to catch the ball, goes forward, scrum
And
wide.
Joe Simmons is the man to make way this time around, given the scrum, given the absence of
Okay, so you're happy
Luke
to play,
Cowan-Dickey.
yeah? Thank you. Sorry, not you. Crouch!
Just looking at some of Exeter's previous plays, they've targeted Luther Burrell, and usually with Witten as well. So try and expect to see some kind of set-up play, attacking him on his inside shoulder.
Start using!
White breaks away, Kovacic goes blind, Cordero alongside him. Very good tackle made by Tom Wood, who's then in the passage of the pass. And penalised as a consequence.
Expect the Chiefs to go for the corner here, even though I think if it came down to it, Rob Baxter would take the bonus point, but certainly with 15 minutes to go, ramp that pressure up. They want their own bonus point try, and they want to stay down here for as much of these last 15 minutes as possible.
He normally does that for me, okay? He's a good guy.
It's times like this that you wish you had Gibson still on.
Tom Wood's not bad in the line-out.
Important line out this one. Tayone finds Skinner. The maul is set. The drive looks promising. Exeter in familiar pose. Have they lost clarity over where the ball is? It's a penalty to the Saints.
That's that old thing of momentum, isn't it? When things start to go for you in a game, you tend to find the decisions going your way. Really, really strong defensively. Perhaps some questionable angles coming in at this maul here. There from Reiner, just in at the side. But the referee just looking at the front and looking. Ribbons doesn't roll away either, does he? But when things are going your way, they go your way.
Oh, now, Dan Bigger has just thumped the ball into touch and then really pulled up.
Thanks, Wayne.
His hip, isn't it?
And you, mate, yeah? Through man, fellas. Through man. Just me.
It may be something he can just shake off. Certainly, that's the impression he's giving at the moment, but he did not look comfortable. Regardless, he stays on.
Not on the outside.
And the ball is there for Reiner. Cordero with Nairavoro looming. It's forwards from the Exeter winger.
Knock on the touch, option. Scrum or line, your ball. Knock on the touch.
Nairavoro almost steps out of his way. He's done well, Cordero, there, hasn't he? Despite knocking the ball on.
I wonder what took his eye off the ball.
It might be that it...
I think it just went.
Suddenly
the lights went out.
Became clear what was going to happen.
Couldn't see the ball.
So the momentum back with the home side. Fish tapped back by Ribbons. Lovely ball for Reiner. It's gone in behind Dan Bigger, who's looking to straighten. He's run straight into Ribbons. Brousseau.
He's being pinned in. He's being pinned in. Playing the ball.
Well, Brousseau, I think, was in the eyes of Ian Tempest at least trying to feed the ball back. Sam Skinner might have other views.
Scrum and team going forward.
Let's go. Ready, let's go, sir. Ready. Why's the medic on? We're ready.
Let's go, fellas.
Let's go. Let's go.
Time off. Sub. I've got sub. Time off. What? 6. 6, please.
Another change being made by Rob Baxter. Tom Lauday on in the back row for Sean Lonsdale.
Time on. Scrum.
Let's go then. Come on.
Getting a little more game time this season, Lorde, after he had to wait his turn. Thomas Waldron, of course, an absentee now for the Chiefs.
Set.
Huge pressure again, but they've been smart at scrum time, Saints, in this second period. And Naira is getting the ball away, and it's come off the hands and then the knees.
It was Armand that
of Harrison, and Chiefs want to play.
It's a black ball. It's a black ball. It's backwards by White.
That's the right call. Armand just gets his hand in, but he certainly pulls it backwards rather than knocking it on.
This is Cordero's worst nightmare.
Black ball.
Naira at pace just swats him off like a fly. Then Armand does well actually to get his left hand and hit the ball backwards and not forwards.
No, off we go, off, please. Time off. Nigel, no. Time's quite clearly on. This guy keeps running onto the pitch. You do that again, you will be in the stand. Time back on.
Water carrier read his fortune. Fish, ball stolen by Skinner. Kvesic, Steenson, Witten. O'Flaherty wants it on the outside. Slade, right into contact from Brousseau. Steenson, Cordero, given half a yard, he's trouble.
Harrison's done really well there, just to shepherd him, take away his space by dragging him over towards the touchline, never allowing him that inside step.
Steenson again, Witten. Slammed in the tackle, that was an almighty tackle from Fish.
Northampton have looked really good defensively in this area of the field, defending it like their try line.
O'Flaherty. Johnny Hill, forwards in contact, and then forwards from James Fish.
Part of that is the line speeds were really good in and around the breakdown, so those first few metres, but then having that control, taking a little bit of the pace off, but continuing to move forward, knowing that at some point the Chiefs will try and play out of the back, and they just keep going forward past the front line. Some of the decoy lines by the Chiefs haven't been that good, but the quality of the tackling in and around the breakdown has been really good as well.
So the yellow card eaten up. Cowan-Dickey back on. And Phil Dolman is replacing Joe Simmons at fullback. 8 minutes to play. 10 points the difference. Chiefs at the moment outside of the losing bonus point territory. And of course with 3 tries, not 4. So leaving empty-handed as it stands. Still under
brilliant from Francis.
Enormous pressure, aren't they, at scrum time?
That's huge from Francis. Because his knee goes to ground under as his opposition folds, but he gets straight back up and gets the legs going immediately. You see, big pat on the back for the tight head from Johnny Hill.
Thank you, where you are.
Let's watch his knee drop here. See, folds, he gets straight back up and keeps the legs driving. They can't hook the ball. And now they're exactly where they want to be, the Chiefs. Back in the red zone.
Cowan-Dickey, it's scrappy. White has it. O'Flaherty is going to need some help. Johnny Hill straight into the traffic. Little burst here from Slade. White. Again, White to Hepburn, full of running off the bench. Skinner for Lauday. Again, this terrier-like defending from Northampton. They know how ruthless the Chiefs can be inside opposition 22s. That line is being defended like the try line. And it's gone forwards from Armand. And Reinach has it.
That's the key, isn't it? You said it, defend that 22 like it's your try line, because you can't allow them to get 5-10 metres out. You keep them here, they're not the most cutting-edge attack in this league. You let them near your line, you're in big trouble.
That's fine, mate. You hold the ball. Steve, just mind that for me.
So 1 or 2 handling errors that have cost them inside the 22. It was actually a feature even in victory that Rob Baxter picked out against Saracens. He wasn't happy with it. 10 so far tonight, which has definitely accounted for them. And James Fish is almost certainly going to need Reece Marshall to reappear. Oz.
Well, just looking at Saints' defensive structure, they're so good because they get great width from every breakdown, and they do that because they get everybody in position early. Their second, third and fourth defender, and then they all come together, but they all come together at the same pace. So you're presented with a defensive line that's advancing to you on with real width, and even great attacking sides like Exeter struggle to deal with that, particularly if they get shorter numbers. But Saints' defence has been, well, in their last few matches, absolutely brilliant.
The man top left responsible for that, Alan Dickens. And when you look at the season as a whole, 26 tries now conceded across 11 rounds. Put that against last season, which was their worst ever defensively. They shipped 80 in total. So this is a big, big improvement already. So Fish has taken his leave. Marshall back.
No. Need in a good shape. Time off. Time off.
And these minutes, although the time off is for the moment.
Okay, neither in a good position there, fellas.
These minutes spent messing around at scrum time are not helping Exeter's cause, certainly as they chase the game.
We're not wasting time on these scrums.
He's called time off, the referee. Just explaining there, he's not going to allow that clock to drain down.
Time on.
Still faff time, isn't it?
Still faff time. Still get your breath back time.
15,000 in tonight. Loving it.
So that's why I'd like to see the time come back on when the scrum actually engages rather than before they faff around cuddling each other.
On actually setting the scrum. So let's go, fellas. When you're ready, we'll put it back on.
Well, the good news is Ian Tempest is well aware of it.
Yes,
which a lot of referees are not.
Yeah, no, and he's been brilliant with that. It's 15 seconds gone.
But it's good refereeing because Northampton are clearly asking why the clock's off.
Penalty Saints, which has gone down a storm. They've been on the rough end of it at scrum time tonight. So that penalty gratefully received. Only the second of the night against the Chiefs scrum. Your verdict, Ben?
Just think this is just a little bit of kidology there and a step backwards by the Northampton front row. You're not allowed to push before the ball's in. That's what the penalty's for. They've gone forward, gone to ground, but I think they've absorbed that hit, taken a step back, milked the penalty. Any front rower in the business would say, good on you, because it's all about the dark arts.
Dan Bigger playing through the pain, seemingly. He is not moving entirely freely. into the last 5 minutes. Marshall to Wood.
Once, 9, once!
Straight up in the air from Reinach.
No knock on, no
O'Flaherty.
knock on. And it was touched in the air, so no offsides.
Exeter have the ball back. The first objective as they try to get within losing bonus point range. Steenson for Slade, again being shut down. This defence has been exemplary tonight from Northampton. Cowan-Dickey. Steenson well behind the gain line, flattened by Courtney Laws. And not particularly enjoying the process. So Flaherty couldn't quite free the arms up for Witten. White. Popped onwards for Kovacic. White again. Trying to raise the speed of ball here. Exeter. Cowan-Dickey's been caught and there are men over the top of it. White again. O'Flaherty. Straightening on Franks. Witten. Armand.
I just think the Chiefs need to run a hard runner off 10, because at the moment it's either going through the forwards like this, which has worked, or it's going through 10 to behind a decoy runner. And Northampton just coming straight through because they know no one's getting the ball. Just change the tactics a little bit, make that defensive line think about what they're doing.
Here's Hepburn. Lauday. Steenson. 13 phases and only a handful of meters made thus far. Armand from a standing start. Flattened by Ribbons. Steenson again changing the picture. Here's Witten. Van Beek doing enough to slow the ball up. Cowan-Dickey. O'Flaherty. Again, black shirts everywhere. Nairavoro. Armand getting caught so early by Tom Wood. Now they're back behind the gain line after 17 phases. They know they've got to keep the ball in hand. Cordero. 90 seconds remaining. White. That's forwards from Nairavoro. And it'll be a Chiefs scrum.
Yeah, White's just saying, did he slap it down deliberately? The hand's already up. He knows what he's doing, but the hand's already up and is part of the tackle. But he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, that's a penalty. It's a definite penalty. But how good has the Saints' defence been? Their ability to read plays, still make frontline tackles, win the physical battle, keep line speed. Super impressive.
Fish returns. Patched up. Headgear on.
Set.
Straight into the thick of it. And Exeter, who've enjoyed total dominance,
it's the right call.
Well, almost total dominance, have another scrum penalty.
Yeah, it's the right call. Again, Francis winning the penalty.
Thank you.
It's Van Beek who ends up rolling in. I thought Francis was a little bit long-legged. He was very straight in the body, but he just keeps chasing those feet underneath him. And eventually the pressure too much for Northampton loose head. He just rolls in.
Exeter need a Slade special. He's put them reasonably close, but some way out still, and he's not happy about the...
That was nice of Kovas Reinach to mark the touch for the referee's assistant.
Slade unimpressed. However, they're in the 22. They're chasing the bonus point.
Exeter Mall.
They're chasing 2 bonus points.
Yeah, 2, of course. They're leaving it exceptionally late. Karen Dickey has the ball tucked under his arm.
They need to make sure this comes out.
Tom Wood is right on top of it, but the Chiefs have tackled Whitton high, so the advantage is with Exeter. Held on to by Cordero. Slips it away. Dolman. Still with the advantage. Kvesic for Armand.
Big call. Do you take the 1 bonus point?
High tackle on the 10.
Penalty.
It just doesn't quite feel like an Exeter decision, that one.
Number
But
10, high shot.
it's going to be a big one.
I think it's the smart decision.
Thank you.
He's going to the corner, you know. Exeter prepared to roll the dice, prepared to back their set piece, to back the way they do things. Into the 2nd minute, beyond the 80. They want 2 points, not 1 from this. Not a dissimilar situation to their match against Harlequins at the Stoop. The line-out has been won. Yet again, it's Skinner. Bodies piling in. Slade is in there. Cordero is in there. They're up to the line. They're over the line, and they've got it. They've got it. An all-important try.
Wow. When you need it. When you really need it. To have that much belief in yourselves. All the backs come streaming in, and then they just find that gap to the left-hand side. See the work of the boys at the front, just trying to open up a gap. It's Francis who just turns his hips and allows them to come round the corner.
It's Matt Kvesic at the bottom of it all. Man of the match last week. And he's come up with his 7th in all competitions here in the 82nd minute to grab 2 precious points for the Exeter Chiefs. Only 3 times in 4 seasons have they left without a bonus point of any kind in the Gallagher Premiership. This kick largely irrelevant in the general scheme of things. Exeter have 2 points, but the Saints, they have 5. And 15,000 rise to applaud the home team. A famous, famous win against the league leaders. And the kind of win that does suggest that they are in the process now of rediscovering themselves fully. Full time at Franklin's Gardens. Northampton 31, Exeter 28.
Yeah, and a brilliant game to watch. Excitement all the way through. Some great rugby in there. Some brilliant defence in there. Saints deservedly come out on top, but the Chiefs at the end still going for that double bonus point, and the champion side backs themselves and comes up with the goods.
As good a game as we've seen at Franklin's Gardens in a long time, and almost a defining moment, you could argue, in terms of the Saints and where they are this season. Dan Biggar, Ryan Ack at 9 and 10, Tim Horner-Harrison at 8. That little central part of their team really delivered when it counted, because Exeter found a way back from a 14-point deficit, and you thought the champions would just find their way. But no, Saints, they had strength in defence and courage in attack and deserved all the points.